Listen up or run for cover. Dropping knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. The real Bradley is dropping
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today, folks, in the studio, live in the flesh, we've got the Godfather of mixed martial arts, the most dangerous man on the planet, I like to say, the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock. I'd normally introduce people like, if you don't know who he is, but who don't know who you are.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, thanks for coming in today.
All right.
You know, this podcast basically reaches people that are out there struggling, fighting to build businesses, fighting to, improve their lives in a lot of different ways, not just financially, but, family, spiritual, everything. And you being the Godfather of mixed martial arts. I mean, I remember when the UFC came out, were you you've been doing it forever.
Yeah, I was in number one.
Were you? That's what I was going to ask.
One, yeah.
But I didn't want to say shit, dude, you've been around since number one.
And before that, because 3 years before they even started over here, I was over in Japan doing it.
Yeah. So was Japan doing a lot of those bare knuckles or no?
Yeah, theirs was open-handed, but it was the same concept of the mixed martial arts where it was open hand strikes, closed fists to the body, no gloves or anything on, and then you hit the ground, it was all submissions. So yeah, it was, like I said, that was the very first actual MMA, but when UFC came out in the very beginning days in 93, that was no holds barred, bare knuckle.
Yeah, I like to say I invented it, and I'm not even joking, because I was sitting around with my buddies. I think I told you this story last time you were here. And I'm like, dude, if somebody thinks they're badass, why don't we put up like 50 grand and just let people fight? Because if you're at a bar and someone yells, fight, everyone wants to see it. I go, dude, we'll sell tickets like a sumbitch. No rules, bare knuckle. There's 50 G's. You think you're a badass, go in the ring, and whoever is standing when it's over gets the money. And I had a couple of buddies that were making good coin at the time. So I'm like, let's rent Thomas and Mack and let's do it. So we did a little research. And we found out that the Nevada Gaming Commission or whoever wouldn't let us do it. So basically we just said, shit, it's not even legal. They won't let us do it. So we gave up. Next thing I know, UFC came out, UFC 1 came out, and I'm like, dude, that's exactly what I was talking about. But what had happened is somebody went to Denver and talked them into doing it. Wasn't it in Denver?
Denver, Colorado, and it's the same thing we're going through now with the bare knuckle, Valor Bare Knuckle, is that none of the states have an understanding of what it is. There's no sanction. There's no body for you to go and actually put an event on. But there's what they did, and the way they went around it was they just actually did it as a one-time event. It wasn't like a sport or an event that had to be sanctioned. It was like a concert or something they put on. They were just putting an event on. And they obviously had to get the licensing for that. That was probably a struggle. But that's really how it was, is that there was really no states or anywhere that really had an understanding of what it is, and there's no sanctioning bodies, so they weren't allowed to do it unless they went in as just an event.
Yeah. Well, I like to say I invented it, but I didn't get paid for it. Why? Because I gave up.
Right. Well, see, there's that word, right? I mean, you think about everything you do in life, especially with an idea, or whether it's your physical fitness or whether it's in business, whatever it is you're doing, when you set your mind to something and you're passionate about it, it's something you want to do, then you never stop because there's a roadblock. You figure out another way around it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't, and now obviously I'm not the UFC.
You're not doing too bad, brother.
Nowhere near the UFC, but I can also tell you, like, UFC kind of made it to where, like, whether it's Bellator or any of them, like, a lot of people think the UFC just means the fight game, when in reality there's a lot of other I don't know what they're called, brands, whatnot, but you're starting or have already started Valor Bare Knuckle.
Yes, excited. September 21st in Newtown, North Dakota.
Why there?
Again, almost the same reasoning as the UFC started out in Denver, because they sanctioned it. They're going to allow it to happen. So we're in that same situation in the early UFCs where you have an event that is old as dirt, but hasn't been done in a while, and that we're bringing it out. We're going to bring it from the dark to the light. We're going to put professional fighters in the ring, and really it's going to be the same kind of setup where you got style against style. I mean, you got boxers, MMA fighters, you've got wrestlers, you got all kinds of different people that are coming into bare knuckle, Valor Bare Knuckle, and they're 0-0. And in their regular prospective sports they did prior to this, they're like 34-2 or a world champion in this or world champion in that. When they step into that ring or that pit in Valor, they're 0-0. It's style against style.
What style would you say, if you could look back and say, listen, of everything I've ever learned, other than obviously your foundation's wrestling, and most champions, the wrestling is in their background. But what style would you say, if you had to just protect your family, walking around the street, someone comes up, they're a wise ass, and you had to protect yourself? What's the one style you'd master?
Oh, there's no question, a right hand.
Or boxing.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, but then you look at Malinaji, and he went into bare knuckle fighting and lost to Lobov, who was an MMA guy. So it's a different beast. I think it's apples and oranges, right? It's different, man. Even though it's fighting, right? People would go, well, man, I think boxing would mess up. No, because they have big gloves, and they're used to doing the peekaboo where they can block punches, and they use a glove to block punches. Bare knuckle, you can't do that. The punch is going to get through. In boxing, you can eat a jab and then hit somebody with a right hand. Bare knuckle, you can't take a jab because it's going to knock you down. So it's just different. So I think it's more about the character that goes into, like you said, somebody on the street. I don't care if you're a professional boxer or a professional MMA guy. If you get a guy mentally that's upstairs, has got this mentality to just kill, or that I'm just going to go and I've got no quit in me, and you're on the street, that guy's going to win. Just because he's going to throw that punch, he's going to keep coming. And on the street is not a mat. And on the street, you know, there's no rules. So for me, I think it's more that the mentality that an individual has when it comes to that street sense.
Mindset, mentality, things of that nature. How did you like have... It's really the fear that stops people. Like if you said, hey, dude, let's go outside and fight. Even if I didn't know who you are and you weren't freaking vascular and ripped, if you were little, and I would still have the fear of, oh, shit, I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get in a fight. I might get freaking knocked out. Like, how do you get rid of that fear? Or did you always have it?
No, I grew up with it. Ever since I was a little kid, I've been street fighting, you know, just the way I grew up is lived out of a car. I didn't have a home. So for me, it was a normal thing. Even at times where you get jumped, there's more than one guy. In my mind, it was like, there was no thought of running. There was no thought of trying to find a way to talk my way out of it. It was, the mindset I had was hit the biggest one, or whichever one was doing all the talking, try to take out the alpha male. I mean, my mentality of that kind of stuff was just natural to me. It was like, it's going to happen. So it's either going to happen with me causing damage, or it's going to happen with me just getting a tar beat out of me. Either way, it's happening. So how do I want it to happen? And so mentally, it never even crossed my mind. When we did the first No Holds Barred in Denver, Colorado with bare knuckle, everybody was a little tripped out on it. For me, it was like, dude, there's one guy. There's no gun. There's no knife. I mean, how much better do you want this? And so for me, it was more of an excitement rather than being afraid. Like, I get to go out and actually fight somebody, and I ain't going to get arrested.
That's why they call you the world's most dangerous man, because you're not afraid.
It just, I don't know, man. Stuff like that. It's just, to me, it was, I don't know. My mind was just different. It was just like, hey, it's going to happen. How do I want it to happen?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to business or family or shit like that, how do we apply that? What would you say if someone were out there building a business, but they're afraid to hire people? They're afraid to spend money on advertising. There's so many excuses that you hear out in the world. I'm trying to figure out how to get the bomb squad a little bit of insight on how to get that fearless attitude. Because I keep telling people, you just got to be fearless. Like when it comes to business, I'm fearless. I'm the Ken Shamrock of business. I don't give a shit. People are like, you're gonna risk that? That's not a risk. Like I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of losing my business. I'm not afraid of losing my investment. I'm not afraid at all when it comes to business. Now, again, put me in a ring. I'm afraid of freaking a 4'9" dude is puffing their chest wanting to fight me. I got a little butterflies. I don't know why.
Well, I've just started into this business world. I'm creating a lot of different things. I have a lot of different opportunities that have come my way, and I approach it the same way I did in the ring. I ain't going to lose. So there's no fear because in my mind, I'm not losing. It's going to work. So I think to myself when I'm doing business is that no matter what kind of obstacle that you may run into, there's a way around it. You just have to find it. And there is. There's no such thing as running into something and there's no out. There's always an out. You may have to work to find it. Don't panic. Don't let that start sinking into your brain like, it's going to, because that's the worst thing that can happen in a fight or in business is when you start letting that negativity start sliding in. Because now all of a sudden, now not are you dealing with that obstacle, now you're dealing with doubt. And doubt is deadly. So for me, it isn't about losing. It's never entered into my mind. It's about winning. It's about knowing I'm going to win, and there's no other option.
Can you teach someone how to do that? Is that inherent? Like you said, I've just always been that way. But can someone learn to be that way?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's just about making sure that when you go into something, you have passion for it. And if you have the passion for it, then you know what you're doing, right? And if you don't have the passion for it, don't do it. But if you have the passion for it, and let's say maybe you don't have the ability to know everything that you're doing within that business world, then do not be afraid to find somebody that does. Because that, to me, is where my strength is knowing where my weaknesses are. Because once I know that, and I know how to fill those weaknesses with people that can take over and be able to do what I want them to do in those areas, then now I become confident again. There's no doubt in my mind I'm going to succeed. So I think the biggest thing is people try to do too much on their own. They think they know it all, and they could be really smart people. But they don't understand that there's a lot of stuff that goes into being successful, and not that you can't do it, but maybe you don't have all the time to do it and then do it right. Maybe you miss something along the way because you're so focused on micromanaging everything and wanting to make sure that you're involved and making sure you're in control of everything. And that could cause you to make mistakes. So for me, I know my weaknesses. I know what I can't do, and I know what I can. And so I make sure I put the right people in the right places so that I know without a shadow of a doubt that I'm going to succeed.
That's good right there. Passion. But I also heard earlier when we were talking the key word preparation. How important is being prepared?
Well, that's the difference between winning and losing badly. Because when you walk into it, whether it's a fight or a business, if you don't have an understanding of what you're dealing with in all aspects, you're going to get hammered. Sooner or later, that other foot's going to drop, and it's going to drop hard. So you have to be prepared. You got to do your homework, man. You got to work harder than anybody else. And I'm not talking just in a fight. I'm talking in business. You got to prepare yourself better than anybody else is preparing themselves. And that's when I tell you when I go into something, I don't lose. It doesn't even enter my mind about losing. It's going to happen. I believe that, no doubt. But at the same time, the only reason why I believe that is because I make sure that I have the right things in place. And I'll get rid of somebody in a heartbeat if I don't think that they're going to be doing what I want them to do, I need them to do. They're gone. Friendship, no friendship, gone. Because to me, I ain't going to lose. It's not going to happen. And so I'm going to make sure that I do everything in my power to make sure the right people are in place and the wrong people are gone.
Yeah, see, and again, friendship, no friendship. See, that's my weakness. If I hire somebody, I end up starting to like them, like they're cool. I give them way more leniency when in reality, I'm screwing that person and myself by doing that.
Yeah, it is. You're not doing them any favors, and you're setting yourself up for, a huge bomb, because usually when someone's that close to you, that's the problem. They're close enough to where you don't know what's really happening. Things are being hid, and you don't see the stuff that's happening. And they're closest to the people you're closest to when you're doing work in that world. Those people that you're close to don't want to say something to you because they're afraid that you're going to get mad at them because you're friends with this guy. So because you're friends with this guy, these people aren't going to tell you what he's doing because they're afraid you're going to get mad at them because you're friends with that person. So that's why it's hard when you get into business and you start having friendships and you start bringing them in and they start saying, hey, we're good friends, we're best friends. And then you're doing a business deal with somebody else. They're not going to come to you and tell you about the little things that are happening behind your back because they don't want to jeopardize that business opportunity with you because this guy is your friend. And so that's where a lot of the problems arise. Is you don't find out about them until it's too late.
How do you like recognize it? Like there's gossip and drama in workplaces where let's say I'm trying to get this dude fired. So I tell you, and I don't care if you're his friend or not, I tell you, dude, this dude, when you're not in the room, this dude's like a loser. When in reality, he's not. I'm an asshole. I'm a cancer. I'm trying to get him fired or demoted. You know what I'm saying? How do you know when someone's legit not the right person?
It's easy because where there's smoke, there's fire, and I'm not going to use that and then stop. That question has been raised. Hey, this dude's doing this. Okay, take it with a grain of salt. But you're going to do your research now, and you're going to start asking questions with everybody you do business with. And I promise you, if that is true, there will be 3 or 4 other people it's happening to also.
Yeah.
That's how you confirm it. Once you hear it, you do your research and find out whether or not there's confirmation.
And then if you had a whole staff of people and you liked them to death, but that person is obviously not capable, what would you do?
As far as what
you said, you'd clip them.
No,
no questions.
Absolutely.
Well, have you ever had to do that?
Oh yeah.
Are you nice about it, or do you walk up and just say, "Hey, dude, beat it"?
I think what I do with me personally is because maybe I'm a little closer to them, is that I let other people handle it. The people that,
but they know it's coming from you. Like if someone here got
exactly
fired,
right,
they know that obviously I approve
absolutely.
it, or it wouldn't be happening.
Absolutely. But that's not the point. The point is that what you're trying, what I would be trying to do is to avoid I don't want to drop them on their head. I don't want to embarrass them. I don't want to be angry at them.
You got like 5 kids and you feel bad.
It doesn't matter, right? Because I'm sorry, man, but it's me or you. And if you didn't do your job and if you didn't stand up and do what you were supposed to do, that's not my fault. That's on you.
Yeah.
And so I can't feel bad for that because if I do, then I'm going to fail with them.
Dude, see, all you people listening, that's what I'm trying to get out of this whole line of questioning. This guy is willing to do what it takes regardless. That's why he was a champion in the ring, champion before the ring. I'm sure when you were wrestling, you were probably the best in the freaking wrestling world, weren't you?
I was aiming for it. That's right.
Well, when you were wrestling, like you had to be doing it from high school up, no?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Broke my neck when I was in high school.
No shit.
Yeah, I broke it. Yeah. And then I came
Wrestling?
back from it. Yeah, at 17 years old. Told I'd never play contact sports again. I say, you don't know me.
Well,
Doc.
they were wrong.
Right. You don't know me.
So you've been wrestling forever. Is that the original contact sport? Is that your whole foundation?
Yes, that's from the ground up. That's where I started from.
How important is wrestling to like the foundation? Because again, my pussy ass quit wrestling mainly because they made you wear singlets.
Right.
Number 2 is because this dude had me in a headlock and I had a sweaty armpit in my face and I'm like, dude, I don't like this deal.
Yeah.
And I had no parenting to keep my ass like stuck to it. How much did I lose by quitting that?
I don't know if you lost anything. I think it's every individual has, like I said, you have to have a passion, right? You don't have a passion for it, you're not going to be good at it. Yeah. So it wasn't wrong. It just wasn't for you, right? So for me, I loved the battle. And I love the competition, and I love the challenge. But at the same time, I came from this background where I was fighting since I was 5 years old. And so here I'm street fighting. Now I'm getting into a discipline where I'm wrestling and I'm playing football. Now instead of being this rebel kid that everybody's saying is going to end up dead or in prison, Now I've actually found something that I get praised for. Like, I become relevant now rather than being this punk kid that nobody likes. Now the coaches and teachers are helping me get the grades I need because they want me on the football field, they want me on the wrestling mat. And I realize this, an opportunity. Like, wait a minute, that's my ticket. These people are trying to help me. These people, I'm relevant because I'm good at something. So I locked in on that. I says, all right, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this so that this will get me out of where I'm at, and I can actually have a life. And I recognized that early on. Obviously, I couldn't think like that, but I recognized opportunity. And I latched on to the athletic part of it. And because I latched on the athletic part of it, all those people that were around me, in order for me to be able to do sports, I had to have good grades. So those people, teachers and coaches and friends, would all help me study and get the grades I need, make sure I was going in the right direction. So I chose and leaned on that, being an athlete. Now all of a sudden, I'm popular and I'm relevant because I was good at something, but I had to also give something back in order for me to have it.
And give up some things.
Absolutely. No going out on the weekends, no drinking, no fighting, no street fighting. I had to
kick you off the team.
I'd be gone, right? So there was a lot of things that wasn't easy. But if it was something I wanted and something that I knew that I wanted to lock onto, I had to make sacrifices. And even at a young age, even though we don't understand it yet or how it works, unconsciously I realized what would work and what wouldn't work. And I really did lock in on it. I mean, I'd be training at nighttime when I got home from school after practice. We'd eat dinner. We'd do our homework. 18 boys sitting around a table doing an hour. We had this study hour. That was group home.
Oh, you were
kids.
in a group home?
Yeah.
When you said you were fighting from 5 years old, why? Like, what happened to your parents? No parenting like me or what?
Yeah, I was in Georgia at the time, and I had two older brothers. We were a year apart, and we were fighting all the time because my mom was basically a go-go dancer. It was back in the 50s and early 60s. And so we were left home a lot. We were left with the wrong people all the time. And so we basically raised ourselves. And so we would constantly be fighting just because of the neighborhood that we lived in was very, very, very low poverty. And so in order to survive, you were always out there fighting. So, early on mentally, I understood what I was seeing with the other bigger kids and what they had when they were the dominant one. And my mind clicked in like, okay, that's what I want to do.
Whoever's the badass is in control.
You live better, right? I mean, that's how I thought about it. I was like, that seemed more fun. And so I started fighting. And I wouldn't give up. And I got my butt kicked a lot. And I remember my brothers telling me, when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, if a bigger kid comes up, hit him first, and then don't stop. And that's what I would do. I would get guys that were twice my size, and they would try to punk me out, and I'd just start throwing. And of course, I do not fare well. I got beat up, kicked in the head, just beat up. And but after it was over, I didn't feel like I was afraid. I felt proud because even though I got beat up, I was like sports where I was relevant within that group because I swung and I went after him and I was getting patted on the back, which gave me confidence to keep doing it. And then pretty soon, nobody could take me. Nobody would touch me because I would win. I would win.
So let's apply that to business. How many times do people they're afraid to make a move, they're afraid to take a step, they're afraid to fire an employee, they're afraid to spend money, they're afraid to do whatever it is they're needing to do, but literally their whole life is, how do I, win? And it's like, take some freaking chances, get your ass kicked, learn. What's the worst that can happen is always what I think. Like, I always think, what's the worst that can happen? Now, when it comes to fighting, I think, what's the worst that can happen? That shit scares me more. Why? Well, because there's pain involved. Didn't pain ever enter into your mind?
I'm not. See, I think that's where I have a little bit of difference. Because to me, pain goes away. It's gone. I can go out and get beat up, get punched in the face, break my nose. That heals. But in business, if you mess up, it's gone forever. I mean, you could lose
another business.
Well, yeah, but you could lose your family. You could lose your cars. You could lose your house. You could lose your retirement. That's scary.
See what I mean? Like, dude, this guy's not afraid to get in the ring with anybody, probably even now. Like, you could care less. You might get your ass kicked, big deal. But you're scared of the things that don't scare me.
Yeah, because it's like, dude, you know how, I mean, I've been there, but I didn't have a family and kids to support. That's scary to me. Like, I don't want to go there because I see the pain and the suffering that happens when you're trying to find food, to put food on the table or to keep your house warm. To me, that can't be healed, right? You got to go find out another way to make money. And being, especially with older people, when they lose their retirement and stuff like that, they can't start over.
Yeah. Well, they can.
Right. But boy, you don't have a long road to make it happen.
I know, but if you had the same mindset as you did with the fighting as you do with that business, I'm telling you, dude, you're going to be unstoppable. Because that's what stops most people. The people listening to this podcast right now, the reason they're listening to it, most of them, is because they're not happy where they are. I mean, a lot of them listen to it because they think I'm funny and they love my guests, but the majority is like, dude, how do I get this shit to the next level? And I'm trying to teach them one thing. And everyone that comes on says the same thing. You're saying the same thing. You got to just get in the fight. And so what? You break your nose. Like me? So what? You break my nose? Fuck no, dude. I ain't getting in a fight. I don't want my nose broke. I can't even imagine my nose shattering. I will avoid the fight. So if in fighting, that's why I would lose if I got into a ring. I am not confident that if I got into a ring with you, I'm going to lose. And I don't have the mindset. I don't care if Ken kicks my ass. Everyone's going to respect it. I'll heal. I'll get better. And pretty soon I'll be the world champion. I think I ain't getting in that ring. And that's what people are doing with business. And that's why their business isn't growing, because they're afraid to get in the fight.
Well, that's why I think that up to this point, I've been pretty good at learning and being able to move forward in this business, even coming out of the fight world, is because in my mind there's no losing. I see things that I don't have an ego to think that I know it all. I have no problem bringing someone in to do something that I don't know how to do.
Yeah.
And so, because to me, at the end game is about winning. It isn't about anything else. It's not about me. It's not about my ego or what I do or don't know. It's about winning. And the only way I can do that is to make sure that I have everything I need to win. And that is even bringing in people that do things I don't know how to do. Yeah,
which is why I guarantee you've already been successful, obviously, but you're going to be even more successful, because whether you're doing it on purpose, you inherently, whether you learned it, someone coached you, that is how you win at business, is you bring in the experts. When you're weak at something, like if I hire a team of people that are just like me, I'm foolish. I don't want me. I have a me. I need someone not like me. I need someone to do the stuff I don't like to, or I don't want to, or I can't do as well. Bring those people in. You bring in coaches. Even though that's another thing I've always thought, like, who's teaching these top MMA fighters, like who's in their ring and they have coaches? And I'm thinking, how do you tell that dude who's the champion what to do? Well, obviously, because the coach will push you. The coach will fill in gaps that maybe you yourself don't see. Like, why do you have a coach? Why did you have a coach all those years?
Yeah, because the one thing you don't see is what you don't see, right? And same thing in business, right? You have people that are going to be seeing things from 30,000 feet, right? Looking down, you see the whole picture. When you're in there sparring, when you're in there training and lifting with weights, you don't know what you don't know when you're doing it. When they're standing on the outside watching, they see it. You don't.
Yeah,
it's like when you videotape
he's dropping his hand. He's dropping his hand every time he moves forward.
Right. So they're able to orchestrate a game plan for you, because they're able to look at it from the outside in, and you're looking at it from the inside out. And so there's two different views happening here. So you have your view and they have theirs, and the two of you together put together a perfect plan.
Yeah, huge. Folks, pay attention, man. There's like, you can't see when you're inside the picture. And it doesn't matter if you're the best in the world at what you're doing. There's someone looking at an angle you're not capable of seeing. I always, when I'm watching MMA or boxing, especially boxing, I'm like, dude, uppercut, bro, uppercut. But they won't throw the uppercut, but it's right there. Why aren't they just doing one of these?
Yeah, and there's another thought too, because like again, we're looking from 30,000 feet out, right? So we're looking at from a different perspective. We don't know how they trained. Like maybe the guy they're fighting has a mean hook. You throw the uppercut, he throws a hook. You're down, out. So when you see a guy in there doing that and you're going, Dolly, it's right there. But they train not to throw the uppercut because the guy will counter him with a hook. So maybe they're all night long because the guy's saying, throw it, throw it, throw it. So there's another thing too where you can actually look at something and it's plain as day, but on the inside it's a trick. I'm sure it's the same thing in business where you see something that looks so good, but boy, there's a lot of stuff going on the inside of there that they're just baiting you to jump in and do it so they can take your money.
Yep, 100%. He said earlier, you're 55?
55, yep.
And, you've been through years of damage. The Rock cracked you in the head with a freaking chair, literally in the face. Tell everyone what happened with that.
Yeah, that was interesting too, because I know wrestling, they always kind of take it to the top of the head. They come over and bang, or to the back. And I never liked that. I hated it because I couldn't, it was hard to see it coming. Like you see it coming, but you don't see it like when it makes contact. And so I remember in the locker room before we went out there, I said, hey, man, I want to change it up to The Rock. And I said, man, I want you to hit me in the face. And he looked at me like, oh, that's good, dude. And I said, no, seriously. He looked at me, he goes, I'm not hitting you in the face. He goes, no, man, I'm telling you to hit me in the face. I don't want you to hit me in the head because that was part of the thing we were going to do. I said, I don't want to take it to the head. I don't want to take it in the back. I want you to swing and hit me in the face. And he looked at me and he goes, man, I'm not hitting you in the face. And I go, dude, I will take care of myself. I said, I got this. I said, just do it. And he goes, looks at me and goes, you sure? And I said, yeah, I'm sure. He goes, okay. I said, look it, I'm telling you, you better swing it. Because if you don't swing it, I'm not selling it. And he, of course, that would make him look good. I said, I won't sell it if you don't swing it. He says, oh, don't worry, I'll swing it. So we go out there and, we get the spot going and he rears back for it. And I'm on my knees looking up at him. And I look at him and I said, you better bring it. And he looked at me and goes, oh, yeah. And so he swung it. Well, just as the chair goes to hit me in the face, I just put my chin down. And it hits me in the forehead. And I go down. And everybody, to this day, people think The Rock killed me. Like, The Rock just laid into me and that he had no mercy for me and that he hurt me and that we don't like each other. That's just not true. I called that spot. That was my spot. I told him to lay it in there because I knew that if he swung that way, that I would be able to tuck my chin, take it to the forehead, which is the thickest bone in your head, and I'd be fine. And that's what happened. He hit me, and I went down, and a lot of people go, dude, that hurt. It didn't hurt because I saw it coming. And, of course, I guess maybe I'm a little bit different than most people, but I just didn't. It didn't hurt. I didn't feel the pain. And but to me, and I guess it's just like with life with me, I'd rather see it coming than not see it coming.
Well, that's the lesson right there. That's the bomb right there. Like, dude, you'd rather take it. You'd rather see it coming because you said earlier, it's the ones you can't see coming that knock you out.
That's the ones that hurt the most.
And knock you out.
Yes.
Like, because again, knockout in business, that's, going BK, getting, your business is gone, your house is gone, your family's gone. That's a knockout equivalent analogy. I would rather see it coming so I can do what I need to do.
Fight back.
You didn't want to get cracked in the back of the head because those are the things that knock you out. You don't know where to move, where it's going to hit. Could have broke your neck. Like shit, dude. Bring it straight to the face and see. That's what I want everybody to hear. Bring it straight to the face. Eyes forward. Let me see what's coming so you can negotiate.
Don't
navigate.
Be a snake. If you're going to do something, mano a mano, let's do it.
Bring it straight on.
Right.
That's freaking crazy. Now, so you're 55 years old. You've been through damage. You got hit in the face. Obviously, all those fights, dude. I've seen probably all your fights. You've had damage. So you went to Colombia to BioAccelerator, got some stem cells.
South America, big old Colombia, Medellin.
I hear a lot of people going down there to do that.
That's how I really decided I was going to do it, was because of guys like Matt Hughes and Chuck Liddell and Ryback and Nash. I could go on with guys that have gone down there and done it and had great results. This guy named, I believe it was Dave Truitt or something like that, had contacted me at one of these events. And he actually showed me the thing, and he started talking about it. And of course, I hear so many pitches, man, of guys that got this new magic, and of course it just rolls off your back. And I was like, oh, okay. So we got his information, and we thought we'd check it out. And so we did some research. Had one of my guys research it and see what we were looking at, and come back and say, hey, this seems pretty, legit. You check out this Matt Hughes video. I watched the Matt Hughes video, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting, because I know Matt. He's not going to say something works when it doesn't. And he's he's just boasting on it. And I was like, all right. So I got a hold of the guy. We set it up. I went down there. Definitely reserved. Got there. Beautiful country, man. Place is just unbelievably beautiful. We stayed in this hotel, and there's a mall connected. It was a 4-story mall. It was really clean, like our malls. It was really beautiful. Go to the doctor's office, which is connected to the mall, so you don't ever have to go outside. I get there, and they do this counsel with me, telling me that they're going to take about 38, 40 vials of blood out of me, and they're going to put these stem cells in these vials in the blood, and they're going to let it sit for 24 hours, and then they're going to come in, and they're going to put me into surgery, and they're going to put these vials back into my joints, my knees, my shoulders, my wrists, my neck, my lower back, the middle of my back, and then some brain recovery. And I was like, okay. And so we get ready to do all that stuff, and I go in there, and of course we got the video, which will be coming out soon, about how they actually did all that stuff. The next day, I wake up from the surgery, and I am sore. I mean, shoulders are stiff. I can't even hardly get dressed.
Is surgeries basically needles, or do they cut you open?
No, they actually just injected it right into the joints, but they got to put you to sleep, because they're basically targeting areas within your joint. But I had my neck done on my lower back, so I couldn't move, right? So I'd be laying for a long period of time. So having me not, reserved, so I wasn't going to move. When they put all these things back in my joints, 2 days later, I remember waking up from bed, and I was still a little sore the second day. But I got up out of bed, and I ended up getting up and going to the bathroom, and I went back to lay back down again, and it hit me. I remember them saying that you need to pay attention to the little things that are hurting you, because you will be sore in all your joint areas, and that will take away your focus on this thing working immediately, right? So I remember saying that, and the first thing I thought of was like, well, normally when I wake up, and a lot of you people out there are going to know exactly what it is I'm talking about. You wake up in the morning, and you go to get out of bed, and your neck is stiff, your back is stiff, your knees are stiff, and you go to get up, and it takes a minute to really just stretch and get warmed up. I got up right out of bed, even though my knees were sore, shoulders and everything was sore, but there was no inflammation in my lower back, my middle of my back, and my neck. It was gone. And I just kept thinking to myself, is this real? Like, I'm sore, I'm hurting, but yet those areas are I'm like, is this real? And I was like, dude, it's working. I mean, I feel this. And then weeks later, my arm, which I had completely replaced, there's a titanium ball on my shoulder. I couldn't even put my hand in the air. I could not reach up in the air when I went through the metal detector. I would be this high. Now I've got a full range of motion. It still hurts, but I'm only 2 to 3 weeks into this. So I'm already feeling the recovery and the results of this thing. Even in my knees, they're aching because the stem cells in there are starting to work, but it feels like they're stronger. There's more range of motion, and it feels like it's slowly starting to, everything's starting to rebuild and recover. And I'm not one of those guys that, talk about ghosts and all these other things. I just, not that I don't think they're there. I just don't think about it, right? I don't dwell on things I don't understand. Well, this is absolutely amazing to me, because I was so beat up. A week ago, I did a 40-minute match with Dan Severin. That would have never happened before this, the stem cells bioaccelerator. Never. I did a suicide dive over the top rope where I jumped out of the ring out onto the floor on a bunch of guys. That wouldn't have happened. My energy level is through the roof. I have been traveling for 3 months now. I was home for probably 10 days within the last 3 months, in and out of flights, not sleeping all that well. And I still have the energy I have right now. This is, I'm telling you, anybody that's listening, this is not a sales pitch. I am telling you, bioaccelerator and the stem cells that you get in the South America, in Colombia, are the real deal. They work. If you try to do it here in the States, they have regulations on how many stem cells you're able to use in each joint, each body part. Over there, they put in what works. You don't have to worry about taking pills or anything on the side. This works.
Why do you think here they're regulating it? Because they don't know, or because they don't really want you totally healed?
Well, I honestly believe it's just like when we started with the CBD things. This thing should have been done 50 years ago.
Hey, did you know when it comes to CBD that the human body has CBD receptors, like straight up specifically for CBD?
No.
Oh, neither did I. Start doing some research. You'll shit your pants. There are CBD receptors in your body. So your body is designed to receive CBD. But yet the DuPont family, long time ago, the hemp, the whole thing, it was going to screw up their business. So they shut it down, made it illegal. When our body has receptors for CBD and it doesn't get CBD, what does that technically mean? We're malnutritioned.
That's it. But think about this, though. This should have been done 50 years, 100 years ago, but it was all because of money. It had nothing to do with trying to help people with recovery. They wanted to sell their pain pills. They wanted to sell their anti-inflammatories.
Yeah.
They didn't want to use this stuff that you could grow in the ground and not cost you anything.
Yeah. Or remember scurvy with vitamin C?
Right.
Oranges cured scurvy. If you didn't get the oranges, you'd die.
Yeah.
We'll do some Googling, and you'll see that, believe it or not, dude, they're trying to get rid of injectable vitamin C. Why?
Oh boy, it's our world, brother.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But thank God there's other countries that like don't necessarily think like that. They're not. I wouldn't even say it's like, big pharma or whatever. But we traveled to Italy with a girl that was lactose intolerant, could not eat cheese or milk or ice cream or anything dairy. Here in the States, she freaked out. We went over to Italy. She accidentally had frickin' ice cream, not realizing it was ice cream. Nothing happened. Decided to try pasta. Nothing happened. Started to drink milk, like cheese. Nothing happened. In Italy, she could eat all those dairy products. Here, she cannot. What's that tell you?
Right. Well, just to go back on the bioaccelerator, I am telling you, look it up. Bioaccelerator in Medellin in Colombia, and check it out. I'm telling you. And also, too, if you do and you happen to go, tell them I sent you, because you'll get a discount. It works, man. God is my witness, man. This stuff works. I did not believe. I thought it might work a little bit here and there, but not like it's doing, man. It's almost like I'm being rejuvenated.
Well, you are.
It's unbelievable.
The way stem cells, at least I understand, the way stem cells work is it goes in there and basically rejuvenates, rebuilds, revitalizes the area. And like, let's say your ligament's torn and this is, inflamed, and it just almost repairs it.
That's what I'm feeling, dude. I mean, every single week I feel like I'm getting better. So it is amazing, man. And listen, I watched Matt Hughes, who got hit by a train, literally in a wheelchair. He's walking.
Is that what happened to Matt Hughes?
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was in a truck driving, and he got up on the tracks, and the train hit him, and should have been dead.
But he was literally in a wheelchair?
Yes.
So he flew down there and he's walking around?
He's walking, he's talking, he's thinking, he's training again, not like he was, but he's so much better now than he was. When I watched the video, I was amazed.
How long until it is supposed to be like, okay, it's done, it's full thing?
6 months to a year is supposed to be how it rolls out, depending on how your body works and how fast it recovers. It could be 6 months to a year, but it's a constant and gradual recovery.
So in a year, let's say a year and a half, you should feel all of its result.
Yes.
So if your arm's still kind of painful or your joints are still kind of painful after a year and a half, you just need more, or it didn't work?
No, it's working. It's just you go down there and do it again.
Do you have to do it again?
You don't have to, but especially athletes like myself who constantly keep doing things, or wrestling or whatever, it's always good to go down and keep doing it maybe every year. Because whatever you're doing, it's going to help you keep regrowing, keep rebuilding.
What about preventative? Like, I don't hurt, fortunately. I've, protected my physical body my whole life. Like if I felt pain, I didn't like it. I'd say this must mean don't do it. Right. But now, look, I just turned 50. All my buddies, dude, they get out of bed like you just described. I don't have any back pain. Right. Although recently, right here, it's starting to freaking hurt for no reason. So now I'm starting to get a little, what do they call this? Tennis elbow? I don't know.
Yeah, it's an inflammation, right?
Yeah, but dude, I don't like it because I want to go out and go heavy. This stops me. So I got one pain in my elbow at 50 years old. Thank God. And I think it's because I've been a puss when it comes to pain my whole life. Everyone else has just powered through it and it destroyed their body.
Yeah.
Is it preventative? Should I go get shit so I don't hurt in another 5-10 years? Because you're going to hurt eventually no matter what.
Well, think about this, okay? When you're going in there and just say that you've done real well with protecting your body. But imagine, how old are you, 50?
50.
Imagine if you do stem cells and it actually starts rebuilding you, right? And it's bringing you from 50 to 40.
Yeah. Well,
it's still working, bro.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's still going to help you regrow and rebuild because your free radicals or whatever you want to call them that are actually eating away and tearing down your body with age, that's actually it's actually turning the machine backwards. It's rebuilding everything that you're aging with.
Yeah.
So it's going to take you being 50, maybe bring you back down to 40 or even maybe 35. You're going to recover because your body's constantly breaking down with age.
Is it extremely expensive?
That I don't know. For me, I mean, I thought it was pretty reasonable.
So you can do it for preventative medicine.
Absolutely. They do it preventative brain trauma.
I'll tell you offline about this other thing I just heard about as you guys are leaving because I know you guys are swamped, but there's another thing that I just found out about. Supposedly, dude, miraculous shit. Like it'll cure cancer, it'll cure Lyme disease, it'll cure diabetes. This guy had massive brain trauma, couldn't get out of the wheelchair. Went in there, did this, dude. The dude, he'll walk in and talk to you and run and everything. It's crazy, and it's basically taking a bath.
Unbelievable.
You take a bath in this liquid that this doctor invented, and the liquid basically delivers oxygen to the mitochondria, which is the cellular level, which breathing oxygen does not oxygenate your cells. It delivers oxygen to the blood, and the blood's supposed to bring it to the cells. But as we age and the toxins in the air, it stops it.
Right.
So anyway, I'll tell you about that. But they say, believe it or not, there is somebody alive today that will live to 1,000 years old. Have you ever heard that?
No.
Again, dude, there's supposedly the medicine and the technology and the crap that's out there and quickly being discovered could be stem cells.
I can see it now, bro.
There's a person alive today that will live to 1,000 years old. Now, folks, everybody thinks, oh, that'd be wonderful. No, you better start thinking about how expensive is 1,000 years. You can barely afford to live 80, 90 years.
Right.
If you live 1,000 years old, kids, you better start adopting the right mindset. You better start, getting into the
Don't
right
be a fighter. That's 1,000 years of pain.
Oh, that's funny. Dude, I'm writing down as you're saying what you did. And right now I could pull out 4 bullet points of the lessons that you just said. Number one, well, you didn't say them in this order, but you said focus on winning. Like, don't focus on the bullshit. Don't focus on the negativity. Focus on winning. You said bring in the experts. Find some coaches, some mentors, the people where you're weak, the stuff you don't know, bring in mentors. Okay? No fear. Like, quit, stop fearing things and recognize opportunity. Have passion and preparation. Like, dude, if someone just realized that just the things you just got done talking about on this podcast, if they just learned how to implement those, their businesses would double, their relationships would improve. Now the stem cells, now their freaking physical body will improve. Like, folks, this pod, I should sell it. I should charge $99, $1,000. What about Valor? Because again, that's a badass logo.
Yeah.
So you're the president of Valor Bare Knuckle, which is ultimately a new league. What are they called?
Valor Bare Knuckle.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what are those? Like, what is it? A league? Is it a what is it? Like
it's a fight,
right? But you're bringing in a new one where pretty soon you're going to start seeing Valor fights and Valor Bare Knuckle fights going on all over. Now, if someone's listening and they think they're a badass, do they have to have some sort of credential to be a fighter? Or if there's a badass that lives out in the middle of freaking Nebraska that wants to bare knuckle fight, can they enter?
Well, what we're trying to do is find guys with credentials. But again, if we've got somebody that has a reputation of being a street fighter and that he hasn't lost a fight and that can be proven, then that's the kind of guy that will step in and do well in this, because that's what we're doing. It's bare knuckle. So we're looking for anybody. Literally
no
bare
gloves.
knuckle. No gloves. There's no tape on the hand. You can't tape the thumb like they're doing in some of the other ones. No tape on the hand. And
It's
you have to go in
straight
and
up
fight.
mano a mano.
That's it. God-given talent, man. That's it. You don't get to use equipment to make you better. It's what you have, and you better win with it. Because, in my opinion, I don't think people should be called the best fighter in the world when they're wearing boxing gloves. Best boxer, yeah, but not fighter. I think bare knuckle is a different beast. It really takes a certain kind of person to step in there and be great at this. And we're looking for those people. And again, we're looking for people that have the ability to fight. Guys that will step in and that have the determination to win and ain't afraid. And so we're looking for those guys to step in and fight. Everybody that steps into bare knuckle, unless you fought bare knuckle in England or here in the States somewhere, everybody, I don't care if you're 35-1 in boxing and you're an ex-world champion, you're 0-0 in bare knuckle. And it will be style against style. You'll have boxers against MMA guys. Like in our co-main event, we have Ishii Smith against Esteban Payan. Ishii is an ex-world boxing champion. He's now going to step into bare knuckle. We got Esteban Payan, who is a decorated UFC fighter. And those two guys are going to fight it. So we have MMA against boxing. We're going to see which one of those guys can actually transition into bare knuckle.
Now, in the UFC, for example, they wouldn't allow that fight to happen?
No way. Because they put 4-ounce gloves on guys. They want to say it's safer. That's ridiculous. It's dangerous.
But don't you, like, it's MMA, which mixed martial arts.
Yep.
So boxing could be something that you picked up, but would a boxer be allowed to fight a guy with MMA? In yours, yes, but like in any other league or whatever you call those, what do you call those?
No,
leagues?
because you have to follow certain rules in MMA, which means a boxer can get taken to the ground. So
and then they
MMA,
just lose.
Well, of course, they don't have any skill there. So but see, here's the thing.
But if you got enough skill as a boxer, you ain't taking me to the ground because I'm gonna knock your ass out before you even get close to me.
Well, you're gonna try because your footwork. If you have great footwork, like you look at guys like Mike Tyson. I mean, that would be a challenge for someone to try to take him down. you get close enough for him to breathe on you, he'll knock you out.
Yeah, but he's cool now. He don't fight nobody.
No, dude, he's a lover boy now.
You were just with him, or
we're going to be. Yeah,
he's open, and ask him about Tyson Farms or Tyson Ranch or whatever.
Yeah, he's got one in L.A.
Dude, he's gonna make a freaking $1 zillion off that.
He's already doing that in L.A. He's making a killing there. So he's opening another one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Mike Tyson, dude, like, if he got in a Valor, not because of his age, because people eventually, lose a little bit and they're just done. They don't want to freaking continue. But back in his full-on prime, could he sustain himself in Valor? Or?
Absolutely. Yeah. But here's the thing. Malignaggi did bare knuckle. Great boxer. He fought Lobov, who was a MMA guy. Lobov beat him. Everybody did not see that coming. I did. Why? Because when you are a boxer, you got big gloves, and you could do the peekaboo, and you could block with the glove. In bare knuckle, you can't. So he went in thinking he could do that blocking, and all those bare knuckles were getting through, and they were hitting him, and he lost. So for me, bare knuckle is not the same thing as MMA. It doesn't transition well in MMA. It ain't the same as boxing. It ain't the same as wrestling. It's only the same as, in some sense, as somebody that's a badass on the street who throws down all the time and wins all the time.
Yeah.
If I was going to bet with a guy who was a street fighter and had no professional fights in his bag, and he went in and fought Valor BK against a boxer or an MMA fighter, my money would be on the street fighter.
Yeah, because of that exact reason.
Because he knows how to throw his hands. He knows what he's doing there. Whereas boxers, they'll break their hand because they're used to being able to have gloves on there and hit you in the head. MMA guys, same thing. They got gloves on. They're able to throw the punches anywhere they want. So for me, and I think it comes down to the character too, the kind of person that you're fighting. And usually when you're fighting a guy who is a street fighter who hasn't lost a fight, who is, king of their street, they have that mentality. They're going to go in and they're throwing down. Bare knuckle is so fast that boxers can't catch up to it and MMA guys can't catch up to it because it's only 3-minute rounds. When that bell rings, game on. There's no feeling out process. There's no jabbing and making sure somebody doesn't shoot on you. There's no taking 3 rounds to find out what the guy's weaknesses is. It's from the bell to the bell, and the fight is on.
And that's September 21st.
September 21st.
Will it be televised?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. We're going to be streaming it. Right now we're looking into how we're going to actually do it through pay-per-view. We're not sure yet because we have some ideas that the fans will love, but we don't, like I said, we'll announce those once we lock them down.
Well, I want to see it because, again, I mean, to me, when I'm watching a quote-unquote UFC fight, I wouldn't care if that was UFC, Bellator, any of those. Like, I don't care whose event it is. All I care about are the fights kick ass.
Yes.
And it sounds like Valor BK is going to be the most kick ass of them all.
Well, just in the little sample size that we've had up to this point, we had sat back and we were going to do bare knuckle. Me and my team had been, obviously planning to do bare knuckle. But what we did was we sat back and we watched the landscape of what was happening in social media. Street fights were happening. They would get 1 million views of guys beating each other up. Then we looked at the actual events that were happening already in the States and over in England, and they were outdoing the MMA world on viewerships. And that's when we said, time is now. So what we did is watch all those guys make the mistakes they made in the beginning with those corporate or those businesses with the bare knuckle. And when we jumped into the arena, we knew what not to do that they did that was wrong. So we were able to jump in and actually get ahead of everyone else because we saw the mistakes that were already made. So when we launched our business, we knew exactly what direction to go.
Well, to me, I was instinctual. That's why I started, or why I thought that the fighting world, again, I hate saying UFC because a lot of people don't even know that there is a Valor, there is a Bellator, there's a Pride, or there's a bunch of them, and there's more outside the United States than we even know about. Right. But my whole thing is, a lot of people think that means a UFC fight. Well, again, UFC is a brand that promotes fights. Yep. Those fights, number one, number two, the celebrities inside it, you included, were made because people want to see fights, man. It wasn't UFC that made you, bro. It was you that made UFC.
Right, and we're trying to do that with Valor. We want to brand Valor.
Old Dana and the Fertitas aren't going to like that I said that. But it's true, dude. Right. I don't give a shit if it's a UFC fight. Right. I don't care if it's a Valor fight either. I want to see some badass some bitches going at it. And that's what people want to see. I guarantee you the brand is almost irrelevant. Yep. It's who can attract these badasses that put on a great fight and a great show. And you know what people want, unfortunately?
They want blood. They want to be able to see guys get knocked out. They want the impact.
They want badass shit. How do you get around the rules, though, man? How do you get around the rules? Isn't somebody saying, hey, you can't knock somebody out without gloves on? No,
that's, we went to North Dakota, Newtown, and we're going to be doing it there. But other states, because of the information we have out now with the medicals and all that, with it being sold as being unsafe, now we know that's not true. It's actually the opposite of that. Bare knuckle is safer than putting a glove on because it's not about how hard the hand is on the outside hitting the head. It's about how many times that brain bounces off inside your head. And so with bare knuckle, you can't swing for the fences. You can't throw and hit a guy in the side of the head. You break your hand. With boxing, you're able to hit a guy 100 to 150 times. In bare knuckle, you're lucky to get 20 or 25.
Before your hand breaks?
Before the guy goes down.
Oh, yeah.
The punches are more effective, right?
Yeah.
But it's not, because the brain is only going to bounce off there so many times. And it's not about how hard they get hit out on the outside. It's about how many times that brain bounces off in there that causes damage. So you talk about 150 times to the head, that brain goes ding, 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 as opposed to 25 times or 30 times.
Or once.
Or one time they go down, right? But either way, it only bounced off 1 or 25 or 150 times.
Yeah, makes sense. So it's actually safer.
It is.
People that are listening to this are going to want to watch September 21's just around the corner. Like how do we watch this?
Yeah, it's going to be what is it, streaming? I think we're going to stream it, and
but where can people just go to your website?
Fight TV. Fight TV is going to be one of the ones that are going to be streaming it.
So you just go to fighttv.com and check it out.
Yes.
Valor BK September 21. You have a whole card of badasses.
Oh yeah, we got Romero Sokaju. I think I always butcher his name. Mighty Mo. And then we have Jack May is going against Godbeer, who is a actual bare knuckle champion over in England. And then
in
for
England,
a co-main,
it's big, right?
What's that?
In England, bare knuckle.
Yeah,
all
man.
Over.
Yeah, they've been doing it for a while.
Have you ever seen that movie Snatch?
Yeah, that was good with Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
yeah.
Is that bare knuckle?
Yes, yeah, and that's where it comes from. Really, most of it comes from the gypsies, right?
Well, I'll bet you $100 there's somebody out there that no one's ever heard of that's the champion.
It's coming. We're going to get them.
You got to find them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you find them. They might be in the bomb squad right now. That's what I'm saying. If you're a badass, you think you're a badass,
go to valorbk.com, fill out the form. We'll use you.
Come on, man. And that's the cool part is like everybody's 0-0. You don't care who it is. Conor McGregor, come on over. You're 0-0. Speaking of Conor McGregor, like, is that guy the best promoter on planet Earth, or is he that cocky and a dick? Like, do you know him? Have you ever met him?
If I have, I don't remember, but I do.
I'm trying to figure out.
I know who he's with, and I think that he's got a lot of smart people behind him.
Well, I'm trying to figure out because again, I love dudes like that.
Yep.
Like, I love Conor McGregor, but a lot of people are like, he's a dick. I'm wondering, like, are those people dicks or are they showmen?
Yeah, I believe that there's a balance, right? I believe what he does during the fight, after the fight, all that stuff, that's me. I mean, I created that, right? In the world of no holds barred MMA. I was a guy that went after people at weigh-ins, you know. I mean, I love it, and I love guys that do it. But you got to have a line, right? You can't throw chairs into buses and endanger fighters or people. You can't be punching old men. You can't be taking people's phones away, throwing it and stomping on it. There's a line, right? And unfortunately, he's crossed over a couple times. But I get it, you know. He's young. He's got a lot of money, you know. So it's not like you hate the guy for it. I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? But sooner or later, you got to reel him in. You got to stop, because what's gonna happen is something's gonna happen, and he's gonna get sued. He's gonna lose all his money.
It's gonna be a problem.
He's gonna be broke because he's gonna accidentally hit somebody or do something, and because of his track record, they're gonna take everything from him, and he won't have anything left. So somebody has got to, you know, draw that line for him. Say, hey, go ahead. Be crazy within the boundaries of this, because we love you. We love you for that, but don't go back. Don't go beyond those lines.
If he went to valorbk.com, filled out the form, obviously he would be allowed.
Oh, absolutely. We'd love to have him.
So anybody that obviously is already somebody can come over there and try to do it. Now, my question is, how many of them would?
That's what we always said with the today's generation of MMA fighters. How many of these guys would have gone in when I went in? How many of them? They all would say they would, but the proof's in the pudding, because when we first did it, we could barely find enough people to fill a card.
Yeah, but you guys were more no rules.
No rules.
Like, I don't remember his name, but there was this big, huge Hawaiian dude, and I don't know who kicked him in the face.
That was Gerard Godot, man.
Yeah,
right hand and a football kick to the face.
Yeah, dude, like that was freaking no holds barred fighting.
Right. Right.
It didn't matter how big you were versus a little guy. It was like, hey, you think you're a badass? Step in the ring.
Come show us.
Is that Valor?
No, Valor's all stand up. It's bare knuckle, mano a mano.
If I tackle you, ref will make me stand up.
You can't go to the ground. What we're doing is, I'm bringing back what people wanted. If you remember the earlier days, they were all saying, "Stand them up, stand them up." because they didn't want them on the ground because they couldn't see what they were doing.
Not only that, it's just not exciting,
It's like wrestling, right? It's hard to rub up against somebody, even though I was dominating at that. But it's just a lot of people had a hard time viewing that and understanding it, right? It was hard to understand that. Now they do.
And it's not exciting. You're not going to get your teeth kicked in when you're sitting there on the ground, but you might be in pain. I don't realize that hurts.
Right.
But dude, stand up only. So BK's all stand up.
It's stand up and you go at it. 3-minute rounds. When the bell rings, they're going. There's no time to waste.
Dude, I'll bet you anything that gets big quick.
It already is, man. We're already starting. We haven't done a fight yet, and we're going crazy.
Everyone's excited.
Yeah.
ValorBK.com.
ValorBK.com. We have a form on there. Whatever you want to do to be involved, not call us, but go to the website, ValorBK.com, fill out the form, and we will get in touch with you. If you're just a fan, go to ValorBK.com, and you can check out all the information on there.
On how to see it, how to watch
it. How to see it, yep.
I guarantee I'll be watching. And the other thing, you're going to be at Mr. Olympia coming up.
Oh, that's going to be good. Yeah, I'm with, we call it Limitless. We just had met a guy last night, Jazz Mathis. See, I'm butchering his name, but I just met him last night, and we're going to see if we can't jump in and get involved. He's got something really good. There's this NZT48, which is some sort of a pill or something that helps you actually focus better. Obviously, you got to have those abilities to do it yourself. I've been telling you, nothing is going to get you in shape unless you're willing to do the work. So it's not like this magic pill where people always think, well, yeah, I'm going to do this keto diet in 90 days, I'm going to be in shape, and it's going to stay that way. No, it's a lifestyle, and you have to have the ability to want to go and do the work. So I'm getting involved with him. We're going to be at Mr. Olympia Friday the 13th. It's going to be his time to launch his product, and I will be there. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to put something together where I will be able to be the ambassador for this. I'm excited. I know I talked with him last night, and I love what he's got. And me, being a person who enjoys being fit and loves to have other people have an understanding of how to be fit. I love helping people be fit, be in shape, have a great life. So this is something I'm really excited about because I want to be able to help other people live a good life.
Yeah, sometimes I don't say things right, but I always tell people the same thing. And I mean, and again, you got veins popping out of your shit, so you take it to the extreme, obviously. But like, I don't think I'm obese, and I'm definitely I don't have a six pack, so I'm not the one that should be preaching this, but tell me, based on opportunities, just people's, first impressions of people, do you think, because I get in trouble for saying this, do you think fat people have less opportunity than in shape people?
No, the more opportunity, actually. No.
I mean for business.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no question.
Because what I get in trouble for saying, hey, fat people, I'm like, dude, if you're fat, you don't have as many opportunities as in shape people. Or, hey, ugly people don't have as much opportunity as good looking people. Now, that's just the freaking truth. Everybody wants to act like I'm being rude. I don't do the PC bullshit. I'm trying to help people. If you're fat, get in shape, you'll have more opportunity. Would you agree with that?
Well, and let me give you a reason why. Why would you put money or to go into business with somebody that isn't going to take care of himself? Because if he's not going to take care of himself, how do you know he's going to take care of your money?
True.
So for me, that's like a calling card. That's like a business card. Whereas somebody comes up, you got a guy that's all sharp, he's in shape, he's fit, he's got energy, he speaks well, and you're like, okay, this guy looks legit. But opposed to somebody that comes in.
See what I'm saying? So you're just saying it yourself. You're saying if I was looking for an investment and I'm fat, you're going to question the fact that I can't even take care of my body.
I would.
There
Yes,
you go.
I would.
So folks, listen, pay attention. Limitless, whether it's working out at your local facility, whether it's taking some, protein powder that you love, get your fat ass in shape. Start losing weight and get in shape. You don't have to be fucking Ken Shamrock with bulging freaking muscles and freaking vascularity. That just helps, because it does help, does it not?
It was, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if I didn't look the way I look. I wouldn't get the opportunities. That's just a fact.
Right. I'm just trying to tell fat people, dude, lose a little bit of weight and everybody wants to be mad at me.
Oh, because, here's the thing, though. I want you to listen to this. When you have a kid, right, and they're growing up and you're allowing them to eat whatever they want to eat, and you see them putting on weight, and then you speak to them about, hey, we're going to start putting you on a diet. We're going to have you eat some better food. Do you know how many people would come after you? You shouldn't say that to them. You're going to break their ego. You're going to hurt their mentality. And I thought to myself, I said, oh, so it's okay to let them keep doing that, so when they're a teenager, they get teased at school, and then when they get to be an adult, they hate themselves or they get depressed because everybody around them are all enjoying life the way they enjoy it. But because, just like with anything in the world, because you didn't educate them, you didn't raise them, you allowed them to raise themselves on food, not teaching them what is good and what is bad, the same way you would teach them about right and wrong. That's not count. That doesn't count. You can't teach people how to eat right. You can't teach them how to live right and be able to at least have a healthy lifestyle. That's not okay. But you could teach them right and wrong, and that's okay. You could smack their hand. You could spank them. Some people don't believe in that, but you can discipline them.
What about
right?
diabetes?
Right.
Like sugar is a bad thing.
Right. It's like you can't discipline kids. It's like all of a sudden now, you can't discipline them. You can discipline them on right and wrong, but don't you dare discipline them on diet. What, are you kidding me?
Well, they're calling it fat shaming.
Unbelievable.
People are saying that I'm fat shaming.
I'm
not fat shaming, dude. Listen, I'm fat. If I took my shirt off, dude, you'd say you're fat. What are you talking about? But dude, I go to the gym. Like I just avoid pain. So I can only get in so good a shape. But guess what? If I were round, like really fat and out of shape, I would be going to the gym because I understand the facts. And the facts are people judge people. We're not supposed to. You're a man of faith, right?
Yep.
We're not supposed to judge. The Bible says thou shalt not judge, but we all do it. When someone walks up to me, just like you said, if you're looking to get me to invest in your company and you're not in shape, I question you.
Right.
That's judging. So I judge, you judge, we all judge. And if you know that to be a fact, then take advantage of the knowledge and freaking do something about it. It's just like if you get in that ring, people will throw punches.
Right.
Why would I walk in there acting like they shouldn't or they won't? Yes, they will.
Right.
Get in the ring. You're going to get punched. You should prepare. Learn to fight, learn to block, learn your moves. Same thing in life, man. If people are judging you based on your appearance, look as good as you can, right. Feel as good as you can. Forget all the other benefits of health.
There's one thing that I do when I do motivational speaking. I talk to people, and the one thing I always preach is that, when you wake up each and every day, right, your first thought should be, how can I improve myself today? How can I be better than I was yesterday? What did I do yesterday that I can be better at? Whether it be a husband, father, business, shape, anything, right? How can I be better? Every single morning you wake up, that's my thought process. Now, how can I be better today? That's the same thing that everybody should be thinking whether it's their diet or whether it's their business. So if you're saying teaching some kid, and they wake up in the morning, I want to be better. How come food won't be involved in it? How come learning how to eat properly won't be a part of that? Because you're afraid that you might send the wrong message. Why is that such a big deal?
Well, it isn't for me. I think it's PC. And you know what I also think? Same reason they don't want you healed. They call it health care. I think it's sick care.
Right.
Like they want to keep you a little bit sick.
Well, they want to keep selling their drugs.
And I think, hey, don't fat shame your kid. Don't fricking say that to your kid. Why? Well, you want that kid to have diabetes. That's why. You want that kid to beg for the sugary cereals and the sugary snacks and the bullshit food.
Well, look how they're marketing that. They're marketing it to kids, not adults.
100%.
To kids.
And guess what? Once they start eating that food, guess what they're going to need?
Yeah.
Well, now they're going to need that freaking medicine. They're going into the sick care community.
You ever heard of the when they try to thin out it's a thought that some people, I've heard other people say, the reason why we go to war every so often is so we can thin out the population, right? I mean, it sounds stupid, right? But you think about how everything's being marketed towards kids with the sugar and all the products and everything. There's no way they're living long. It's impossible because they're going to be shot by the time they're 50 years old. Yeah. They're going to have heart problems. They're going to have diabetes. They're going to have high blood pressure. I mean, all these things that they're feeding and marketing to these young kids like cereal and candy and cookies, and it's always has to do with kids. So doesn't that make you think, like, why would they do that?
To sell them. I think
keep them sick.
Yeah, keep them sick. To sell them food, medicine, other crap like that. I think it's all a big, I don't want to say conspiracy because there's no one person sitting there masterminding all this. I think it's just, if I'm Montesano, what's that big company that kills everybody? Montesano or, yeah.
Monsanto?
Yeah, like, dude, they've been proven over and over. I just saw a thing. If you got cancer from Roundup weed killer.
Right.
It's supposedly Montesano owned that. It's like, who the hell knew that what they own? Well, they own food companies. They own all kinds of companies, and like that big ass group has lobbyists that go to Washington D.C. and make things illegal so it helps their businesses. So again, it is a machine, folks. It's business. It's 100% business. They don't care about your kid. They don't care about you. Nobody gives a rat's dick how healthy you are. Only you need to pay attention to shit like that, and you need to educate yourself. Wake up, stay woke, as they're saying, and quit being such a dumbass.
Hey, listen, if you want more information on this and you want to change and do something, man, come see me Friday the 13th at Mr. Olympia. We'll have a booth there. We'll be launching Limitless. Come check it out, man.
Folks, I wish I could keep you here all day and keep asking questions, but I know you got to run. I appreciate that you came by today. One more thing before you leave, though, I want to find out. I know that you used to be in WWF or whatever. What's up with Impact Wrestling?
Yeah, that's what I'm down here this time for Impact Wrestling. We're doing something at, what is it? Sam's Town. I'm doing down at Sam's Town. We're doing an event on the 5th and 6th. Come on down there, check it out. Moose, who's been talking a lot of smack, I had to go face to face with him, so I'm going to be doing it again on the 4th. Going to see him face to face, and if he says too much, I might have to knock him out.
Dude, what I like about you, dude, is you're always helping like the newer companies, the startups, the brands that aren't real, known. Because obviously, dude, you go get right back in the Is it WWE now? They changed
WWE, yes.
Yeah, like you could go obviously get in there and do that shit if you wanted to, or support them. But Impact Wrestling, that is like, is it just like WWE with a different brand?
Yeah, it is. And right now, there's 3 companies. There's WWE, and then there's AEW, and then there's Impact. And they're all actually going head-to-head on TV. So there's going to be a wrestling war that'll be starting up here pretty soon. So the fans will get to and the fans win on this because they get to see 3 organizations with a lot of great wrestlers coming in.
Well, what I'd want to do is pitch them against each other, because then how do you make that a performance?
Right.
Like, in other words, if you all work for me, I'm WWE, I say, Ken, you're losing today to him.
Yeah, see, that's the whole thing, though. See, if I had it my way, I would get on TV and I'd destroy all of them.
Because you ain't playing.
Head to head, man. We just go at it. And every now and then, I keep thinking I might do that. So who knows? I don't know, man. Maybe one of these days I'll just do that.
Dude, I'm sure all the listeners here, if they were taking notes, and a lot of them do, it's crazy. After I drop these podcasts, dude, I get people hitting me up with the notes they took, the videos they took, the lessons they learned. This one was filled with the bombs. Folks, make sure you follow Ken if you want to check him out, kenshamrock.com. As you heard, Valor BK, that to me, that's the most exciting thing. You got nutrition, Impact Wrestling. You'll be at Mr. Olympia.
Yes, on the Friday the 13th with Limitless will be our booth.
Dude, I appreciate you swinging by, man. Folks, if you guys like this podcast, go give me a rating, okay? I think I personally have fewer ratings than I should based on the popularity. According to you, you guys like it. You're downloading it. I can see that. Man, go give me some freaking ratings. Share this out for someone that might need the help. Ken, appreciate you coming by again. Man, that was freaking awesome of you.
Thank you.
Till next time, kids, go out there, be nice, keep it real.